Hi everyone, it's Mr. Driscoll and welcome to our screencast on Judaism, core beliefs and practices. This is a special screencast for us today. We have a special guest, Cole Anderson. Mr. Cole Anderson is our Judaism expert. Okay, so he's going to be helping us out with today's video lecture. Okay, so we'll start out by talking about monotheism. Judaism was the first major monotheistic religion in the world.
Really, monotheism is the belief in one God instead of the Greek culture, which believed in the idea of many gods and goddesses.
Okay, good. And the term for that is polytheistic, or polytheism, but we're going to focus this unit on monotheistic religions that focus on one God. Jews trace their national and religious origins back to God's call to Abraham. Jews also have a covenant with God. It means a pact or an agreement with him. Could you talk a little bit about the story behind Abraham?
Yeah, really, when God was talking to Abraham, he asked Abraham to go up to the mountain and sacrifice his firstborn son, Isaac. And Abraham agreed to do this. He brought up his son without telling him what he was planning to do, and he was about to sacrifice him when God sent down an angel. And the angel told him that God had said, do not follow God so blindly. And really, God would never have a human life taken in his name.
So that would be the message behind it.
Yes. Just no human sacrifice.
Okay. Human sacrifice bad. Back to Judaism. Okay. Alright, Jews also believe that God, who expects them to pursue justice and live ethical lives, will one day usher in an era of world peace. Okay, over time, Judaism has split into branches including Orthodox, which is the most traditional, conservative, Reform, and Reconstructionist.
On that, I'm a conservative Jew. I belong to a conservative synagogue. I don't really know much about Reform and Reconstructionist, but I do know that Orthodox is, like you said, most traditional. They wear the hats, as you can see in the picture. I'm more like the picture on the right. I go to synagogue and I read the Torah, and I wear the traditional talis, which is the scarf you can see around the shoulders.
Okay, so conservative Judaism, you still follow most of the traditional practices, you're just not as traditional as Orthodox.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, the sacred text. The Torah is the 5 books of Moses, which tells the story of the Jews and explains Jewish law. The rest of the Hebrew Bible contains writings of the prophets, Psalms, and ethical and historical works.
Yes, the Torah is probably the most sacred text we have. It has to be read exactly. If you're reading from the Torah out loud, you cannot make a mistake or someone will correct you, because you cannot mess up what the Torah says. And it's also said that if a person drops the Torah when they're holding it, they're supposed to fast for 40 days and nights. So if you drop the Torah, it's kind of like a death sentence.
Okay, moral of the story?
Don't drop the Torah.
Don't drop the Torah. All right, sounds good. Have you dropped it?
No.
Okay. All right, because you're with us. That's why.
Yeah.
All right. So the sacred symbol, the menorah, is used in the celebration of Hanukkah, a holiday commemorating the rededication of the Temple of Jerusalem. Could you tell us about the story behind this?
Yeah, really, the menorah came into play when the Greeks were at war with the Jews, and when that happened, the Greeks completely destroyed the temple in Jerusalem. And after the Jews defeated the Greeks, they decided to rebuild the temple, but they only had enough oil to light a candle for one night, but it ended up that the candle lasted all of 8 days.
All right, very good. So that's the story of the sacred symbol, the menorah. Okay, we're going to finish up with the most sacred site, which is the Western Wall. That's the remains of the second Jerusalem temple built after the Jews returned from Babylonian captivity. It's also considered the most sacred spot in Jewish tradition.
The Western Wall, like you said, is part of the second Jerusalem temple, and it's considered so sacred because it is where all of the Jews in Israel really go to pray and lament of their lost ones, and it's just a very sacred spot.
Okay, good. Would you like to conclude by telling us your plans for when you're 18?
When I'm 18, I plan on going to Israel and living on a kibbutz, which is a kind of like a Israeli plantation where there are members of different creeds and religions living on a farm and doing the farm work, and you're not making much money, but it's really just a experience thing that I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, that sounds incredible. I wish you luck with that. That does it for our screencast on Judaism. I'd like to thank you, Mr. Cole Anderson, for being with us today and being our expert on Judaism. Hope you learned a little bit today about the religion, and I'll see you in class. Bye.